Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a quick spoiler-free book review on The Oracle Year by Charles Soule, which was published earlier this year. And this book centers around a young man named Will Dando. He's a struggling musician living in New York City. One day he wakes up from a dream where there have been 108 predictions that have been revealed to him. And so when he wakes up, he becomes kind of like the most powerful person in New York City because some of these predictions could change the world. Will and his best friend Hasma decide to monetize some of these predictions, so they create a website called The Site, and on this site, Will and Hasma kind of put some sample predictions so that people, they can get people's attention, which they do, and they end up selling some of the predictions that are more profitable to certain people, and they end up making millions of dollars. And so this naturally gets the attention of the FBI, the president, because now there's like an oracle that has come about and has knowledge of the future. So what follows is kind of a hot mess. Will is trying to come to grips with the guilt that he feels from some of the outcomes of the predictions. He's also trying to remain anonymous, and at the same time he's trying to figure out where the predictions come from and if there's a bigger picture that he's unaware of. So he decides to take matters into his own hands and try to change the course of events that he himself has set in motion. What I liked about this book is broken up into 4 main points of view. The point of view of Will, Lee, a reporter, Hosea, who's a preacher, and Anthony, who is the president's chief of staff. There are also some smaller points of view with some minor characters kind of peppered throughout, but mainly it's those 4 points of view. And I like that we get kind of different angles of this story. I also like that the last third of this book was really engaging, and I really wanted to figure out, along with Will, what was happening. I thought that was well done. And then lastly, probably my favorite thing about this book is the premise, the idea of just a random person waking up knowing some really interesting stuff about the future and then having those things actually come true and what that could mean for the world and that person's life. What I didn't like, though, is that unique premise can only work if it's executed well. And in this instance, I felt like the author kind of lost his way while writing this story. A lot of these characters who are really flat and one-dimensional, Will in particular, his personality changes to kind of force the plot to move along. At first he's naive and a struggling musician and, over his head, but then throughout the course of the book he becomes a code breaker and, a super spy kind of person, and it was just so unbelievable that it took me out of the story. I also thought that a lot of the characters were kind of cartoonish, and I don't know, it's almost like the author went the safe route because, obviously we have the reporter that's struggling to get a story. Obviously the FBI is involved and there's some sort of manhunt. And of course, Will and his best friend try to make money out of this, which are all things you can kind of expect from a book like this. And so that was kind of disappointing because I felt like such a unique premise could have benefited from an author that really wanted to think outside of the box. So in the end, I ended up giving this a 3 stars. It's a solid 3-star read. It had a really unique premise and it's very readable. However, it could have been done a lot better, and in the end, I was left having a lot of questions and no answers. And some of these questions were raised by Will himself in the book, so I thought it was kind of odd that he would ask a question, but then we wouldn't figure out along with him what the answer was. So overall, I thought it was a good, solid book, but definitely not a book that is probably going to stick out several months from now. That's my review of The Oracle Year. Let me know down in the comments if you've read this book and what you thought about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.